Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Cruncher with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup, and we got ourselves a decently sized haul this week. So let's get started, shall we? Kicking things off, we've got Excalibur number 23. Oh, where we left off? Oh boy, lots has happened. A lot of stuff has happened. Morgan Le Fay has broken free from her shackles in Avalon. The lighthouse is no longer attached to the English mainland. And, well, relations with the UK are frosty at best. So the issue begins with the arrival of the Lord of Latveria himself, Dr. Victor Von Doom, to Braddock Isle, with a few Doombots in tow. But he explains he needs to go. Needs to use the gate to get to Otherworld to get some things he had that were in Morgan Le Fay's castle. He tells him no, yeah, and at least not alone, you know. So, but he says, "Oh well, I've got a mutant child with me." So, yeah. Excalibur's like, and you thought that was going to change our minds? How? So, so Excalibur as well go through the gate. And are joined by Megan. An assassin attacks the group, but and Megan, in case they're going after her, she slightly changed her appearance, so she's just another traveling mutant. They arrive at the location of the castle. Well, there's a castle there. Megan and Richter are able to find out that the castle was moved by magic to where no one knows. Jubilee gets the attention of the fairies and suggests they go to the Crooked Market. In the underground market, well, people are a little weary of what happens anytime mutants are near. We also get a write-up about Mordred, son of Arthur. In the Crooked Market, Captain Britain takes Dr. Doom to speak with Jim Jaspers, the chairman of the market. He has a box, and well, Doom has to tell Jim what the price will be. Elsewhere, Gambit, Megan, and and Jubilee go to make some cash in a table game. Yeah. But there's an explosion, and then a further explosion at Jim Jasper's shop. Turns out one of the Furies is coming out and attacking mutants, calling them friends of Mordred. So Excalibur manages to, mainly Captain Britain manages to at least pause the assault for the moment. But Doom has his prize, and later it turns out that the box has Morgan's castle shrunk down inside of it. But he sends a letter to Captain Britain to thank her for her assistance, stating he must commend her for For the level-headed way she handled his request, the other world is indeed very new. Or this other world is indeed very new. Tensions uh, tension thrums through the streets of the market. The places where those nations meet, the borders are tense, and he has no doubt it will get much worse before abating. Within Morgan's palace was a scrying pool. The waters of Otherworld are little used to Doom, but he does understand they contain many mysteries for those who can read them. And so, sent along is the scrying pool. And we get a theory that Mordred was actually a mutant, and so when the Furies referred to Excalibur as friends of Mordred, perhaps they were simply saying mutants. And that is where the issue ends. There's a little backup story, at least in both X-Force and Excalibur this week. Commemorate the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Spidey and Cap go, and Cap rings the bell. And that's yeah. The issue itself, though, was quite good. Excalibur is always a tricky one for me. It's a book that I want to like it, and I usually do at least like it, but I will admit it's not a title I'm loving, but I am liking it. Some interesting things are definitely afoot here, and I'm sure there will be. We'll soon be seeing Merlin use Arthur to make it move on the throne of Avalon. Which brings us then to our next book, however, X-Force number 23. So this issue is actually going to pick up on a plot point that's been lingering for a while. A ways back, Mikhail Rasputin, brother of Colossus and Magic, got his hands on the Cerebro sword, as well as an injured Quentin Quire. Quire became an object of curiosity for Zeno, and was perverted into a weapon, which was later killed. But we had no idea what was needed with the Cerebro sword. Another point to bring up is that during Hellfire Gala, the Shi'ar showed up with a crate full of Shi'ar logic diamonds as a gift to Krakoa. A gift which was promptly stolen. And Wolverine has been looking into the theft in his solo title. But the X-Men didn't order the logic diamonds. And apparently, it turns out that the mutants stole them, Varako stole them, and they were in transit to Russians. Curious. So the issue begins with a train arriving in Siberia. The man with the peacock tattoo has come to speak with Mikhail. Brought a shipment. Numbers, sadly not the numbers that Mikhail ordered, but it's the new generation of the Xeno nesting doll soldier. They have a demonstration. The man with the peacock tattoo gives a demonstration. And turns out we've got this new generation has removable limbs or detachable hands, which can serve as a flail or grappling hook. Switchblade bones sleeved in the arms and legs. And of course, the smaller nesting doll versions, which For example, when one was bitten by a polar bear, by an ice bear, well, it swallowed the nesting doll, which then popped out of the bear's stomach. Also, we're told that the eyeballs are detachable and can be employed as surveillance devices. Of course, the man with the peacock tattoo is unable to deliver to the agreed upon number because, well, he's been having some trouble with X-Force taking down his facilities. Back on Krakoa, it turns out that Beast kept one of the nesting dolls from when they attacked the island. And he decides to do an autopsy on it. Still alive. The creatures. Beast thought it wasn't. He thought it was. It had been on ice for months. And, yeah, but it gets away from him and crawls up his body and then through his fur and into his ear and yeah, gets into his body. And he realizes there's something wrong. That's in Siberia. Mikhail gives the man with the peacock tattoo a tour of their facility. He explains that the Krakoans are selfish, solipsistic, xenophobic, and capitalistic. The Russian mutants, on the other hand, are communistic in their role. They work in service to country for the benefit of all. Each and every one of them is a worker, workers with different tools at their disposal. The pale girl, being one of them, said she carries a hammer in her head. Then there's Cyber, Siber, not Cyber, who carries a sickle in his hands. But the man with the peacock tattoo just asks, "Okay, that's great. I'll happily take your money. What's all this for?" But Mikhail imprisons the man with the peacock tattoo in a pocket dimension as punishment for shorting him. And there's a leaked Kremlin document that explains that after M-Day, depowered mutants are to be annexed, imprisoned, and executed. Back on Krakoa, Beast is trying to get the nesting doll out of him, but yeah, goes by Sage and passes by Sage. She notices that his nose is bleeding. She asks to get Black Tom. He asked her to get Black Tom. And we learned that the logic crystals were actually sent for by Mikhail or the Pale Girl to decrypt the Cerebro sword. The Pale Girl seems to be something of a muse to a source of inspiration, at least, to Mikhail. And meanwhile, the Beast has Black Tom meet him in the Shadow Room. Explains basically that one of the nesting dolls got in him, and he needs something small to go after the nesting doll. So basically, Tom makes a miniature version of himself, which crawls up Beast's nose. Meanwhile, turns out there's a writer working for Mikhail as his chronicler. Mikhail's basically telling him what to write. And the writer is not entirely fond of the various plot twists and contrivances you have in their pen, but, well, that's what he has to do. And that, well, when he's told what to basically say, he's not told exactly what to say, and he basically, for example, he might be told, Mikhail opened a door. Threw open a door becomes he threw open a he threw open the door with such gusto, make poetry of it. And that is where the issue ends. X-Force, I'm glad we're finally getting back to this story point. As I frequently say, X-Force is in my opinion consistently good. It's not it. It has been dethroned from as my favorite the Krakoan as my favorite of the X titles, but it's still at least top 10, maybe top 5. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Deadpool, Black, White, and Blood, #2. We got again 3 stories. Purple Craze by David Maria Lapham and Pete Woods. Deadpool Party by Carlo Pacheco and Leonard Kirk, and Pool of Death by Daniel Warren Johnson. Okay, so in Purple Craze, Deadpool, as well as a bowling alley full of people, are under the thrall of none other than the Purple Man. Deadpool suggests that that maybe the reason that he's there is because Kilgrave is pee his pants scared because he knows Daredevil's coming. But yeah, he's told Kilgrave, well, is Kilgrave. Daredevil shows up, and then Deadpool is told to take Kilgrave someplace safe. Top of the Empire State Building seems pretty safe, right? I mean the top, not the observation deck, the top. Then Deadpool's apartment, and Purple Man tells him that sees a picture of Deadpool with Inez, outlaw, crazy Inez, outlaw, and yeah. Basically tells him that, if Kilgrave dies, he is to chop Inez into 10,000 pieces and eat one piece every hour for 10,000 hours. But Deadpool explains the plan after he's told to be quiet. On plain paper with crayon. However, he maybe did something, not that he was told not to, but that he wasn't told to do. Turn on the stove. Only he didn't light the stove, just turned on the gas. And strikes a match. Destroys his apartment. Kilgrave survives, but and Daredevil shows up, but Deadpool asks Daredevil if Kilgrave's alive, asking for a friend after all. Which is where the story ends. Which brings us to Deadpool Party, which begins in media res, in the middle of the action. Deadpool is charged up and falling from the sky. Flashback a little bit to him shooting somebody in the face, but then jump a little further forward to him basically being charged up by Gambit. So then we go back even further. Deadpool kills a bartender at a pool party being held by Benji Frederick, criminal tech billionaire and all-around bad lady. Turns out, among the guests at her pool party is none other than Remy LeBeau. She's been making some big moves on the stock market, and Xavier wanted to, South Cerebro, and so Xavier sent Gambit, being Gambit has a more unsavory past. But yeah, Deadpool explains that no, she's trouble. Okay, she's bad news. Goes on to add that she's, in fact, part of a group of vampires who discovered drinking mutant blood along the, kind of helps them out a little bit. So they take on mainly Deadpool, take on the mutants or the vampires, but well, the explosives that were left there, Deadpool doesn't really have the Charger. Deadpool's misplaced it, so he has Gambit charge him up, and he jumps out of a helicopter into the building, blowing it up because he's put a lot of C4 in the building. But Remy helps Deadpool put himself back together, and they hop on jet skis and ride off into the sunset. And a fish eats one of Deadpool's fingers, which makes Deadpool make up the joke. Fish fingers. Which then brings us to our final story, Pool of Death. So, the concept here is writer-artist Daniel Warren Johnson has been tasked with writing a Deadpool story, but only he's got writer's block. So there's Wade with him, trying to, and, Johnson's going through his ideas. Oh, Deadpool fights Wolverine. Everyone's seen that, though. Deadpool fights Hulk. Deadpool basically say, I've fought everyone, at least once. So, Johnson suggests, well, what about a team-up? Deadpool and Cable. But, you can do more with Deadpool than just have ultra violence. There's, tell a different kind of story. So he's just a romance story. What if Deadpool went on a date with Dazzler, and they enter a swing dancing competition, and if they don't win, it'll be in the end of the universe. And first Deadpool's like, wait, hold up. And they're like, you know what? I like where this is going. But Johnson's not sure where it's going to end. So Deadpool suggests, hey, tell me about the first time we met. Picking up an old Deadpool comic at in the library, in a bookstore, and his dad saying that they'll have to rip out all the bloody pages. And younger Johnson trying to draw Deadpool. It's honestly it's a neat. It makes for a really neat story, in my opinion. More instead of being a Deadpool story, it's about a writer artist. Trying to come up with that perfect Deadpool story while, being advised by the character. But that is where the issue ends. And, the Carnage, Black, White, and Blood stuff was hit or miss, in my opinion. But the Wolverine and Deadpool, Black, White, and Blood minis have both been, in the case of Wolverine, definitely great. In the case of Deadpool, so far, so good. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, with Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 14, A War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in. Where we left off with Dr. Aphra, she and Sana were in the brig of the Crimson Dawn's ship, the Vermilion. Turns out they're not alone, though, as Just Lucky and Ariel, you were there. Which, yeah. Aphra explains to Sana that Just Lucky has betrayed her and left her for dead dozens of times. Which, Sana says, no wonder the two of you get along. Though Lucky explains that it's a professional arrangement. They take turns. But Lucky guesses that either A, Sana is an ex, or Aphra owes Sana money. It's both. So they're trying to figure out how to get out, but the cuffs are designed so that, any attempt to escape will, all things will go exploding. But Lucky and Ariel's mentor, Cray, comes to them, along with the sentry droid. Which, I'll say, the sentinel droid is excessively polite. I like that. But he wants to know what if Ariel and Lucky have considered the offer. Well, Lucky says they're still thinking on it. And so we go with one of the old jailbreak classics. Get help. One of the takes on Get Help. Namely, Aphra punches Lucky. Sana, while digging lockpicks out, kind of, does the old, "Oh no, she's killing him. Please, won't somebody help?" The door to the brig is opened, and Lucky the quartet escape. Aphra is able to hack the Sentinel droid. And angle the shot just right so that Cray is hit, even though he's using Ariel U as a human shield. The quartet make good their escape. They find an armory and arm up, and blast their way out to a control room, or to a control center, set some explosives, and yeah. But there's the one thing they want: that data crystal necklace, which is in the possession of Lady Kira, who asks one of her assistants, one of her minions, guard it, keep it safe, because, well, she'll be back for it. But before our heroes can go after the necklace, they're intercepted by none other than Deathstick. And that is where the issue ends. Okay, so I honestly feel like Dr. Aphra is the tongue-in-cheek subplot of War of the Bounty Hunters as an overall story. And you know what? I'm here for it. It's fun stuff. I'm debating whether or not, when War of the Bounty Hunters is over, if I'm going to drop the Star Wars books titles or not. Moving on, however, to our next book, we've got War of the Bounty Hunters #4. Where we left off in the story as a whole, Vader is taking possession of Luke Skywalker, or of Han Solo, but Luke is on his way. And Vader basically tells him, "Hey, look, come down here and face me, or I'm going to cut Han Solo in half." Luke tells Leia that no, he can't. He's not ready to face Vader. They work on a plan. Leia and Chewie. Lando disagrees, and there's got to be a better way to do it. But Luke decides to do something else. Kind of say, "Okay, you want me? Come get me." So Vader tells the Imperial officers present to secure Captain Solo aboard his Star Destroyer and prepare his fighter. Jabba opts to, says, "Yeah, this is a great get together, but I'm out." Boku is not happy about the fact that, you know, the Hutts, as he feels the Hutts have been made to look like a fool, but he's kind of just, Jabba doesn't give a shit about him. It's that whole thing, you know, his fear of Boku, any fear he has of Boku is gone after the humiliation. Boba Fett is watching Vader's shuttle as stormtroopers carry Han Solo to load him into it. But Dengar shows up. Two of them argue, and yeah, Boba's had it with this whole bounty place. I mean, all these damn nobodies coming after him. Though Dengar says he isn't nobody, and neither is Valance. But Fett does get the drop on them somewhat. That said, he at least manages to make get Dengar out of the way, and he talks with he has a talk with Valance. He offers a partnership. You know, we both want Solo, so we'll go get him. He's on that shuttle. Let's just lift it off. We'll work together and get him. Once we've got him, then then whatever happens, happens. Lando, Chewie, and Leia get back aboard the Falcon and head up. Vader's chasing is in his tie going after Luke, and Valance finds Boba Fett's offer acceptable. Kira's discussing everything that's happened over the course of the night and explains that the beginning of Crimson Dawn's resurgence approaches its end. Lobot is able to hack the systems on the shuttle, completely shutting them down. And Boba Fett, however, takes the Falcon out of the fight with a powered down seismic charge. Dialed back to 20% intensity. So, Boba Fett goes after the shuttle, but a bunch of the various crime syndicates also got ships headed towards the shuttle and the Imperial Battle Group. Boba's reaction is basically, "Oh, come on." While I think it's Jabba, but I'm not sure. Basically said, now the Empire will learn why you never insult a Hutt. I think it could be Jabba, but I think it's more likely Boku. But that is where the issue ends, and yeah, War of the Honor is also honestly firing on all friggin' cylinders. Fun stuff. A little bummed at seeing Dengar and Boba on opposite sides. That was something I kind of liked in the Legends expanded universe, was that the two of them were often partners of a sort. Kind of a Boba would work with Dengar, no problem. Didn't have an issue working with Dengar, but they didn't always work together, but they were willing to. It just it does kind of make one a little sad in this step. A little sad. It's kind of why I developed a liking for Dengar, kinda. But anyway, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.